Hello, my girlies, my ghoulies, my gays, and my theys. Welcome to the Hollow. I have been waiting to say that for so long. My name is Amber, and welcome to the first episode of Wednesday Hollow, my spooky little corner of the internet where I talk about all things paranormal. If you know me in real life, you know this is one of my favorite topics to talk about, especially as someone who has witnessed many things not of this world that cannot be explained away. It was back in 2021 when I first had the idea for a paranormal podcast and just kept putting it off. I thought who would listen to me babbling about ghosts and hauntings and possessions and whatnot. I put it off because I thought I needed the perfect background, the perfect outfit. I thought I needed a co-host. And that the fact that I don't know anyone who shares this fascination, at least at the level that I do, would hold me back. But at this point, I'm tired of avoiding something I want to do just because it's not exactly as I've seen in the past. So here we are. When I first started planning, we were still mostly in the house, so I wanted the first few stories I talked about to be close to home. I made a list of Pennsylvania-specific haunts, and then even closer with a list of Philly-specific haunts. In the midst of that, I found a few stories that hit even closer to home, like right on home. In fact, in Delaware County, Delco, go birds, baby. Which brings us to today's topic. Cossart Road, aka Devil's Road. While the tale of Cossart Road shows up on most haunted PA lists, I think this falls more into the urban legend category. I found it pretty impossible to find any actual experiences on this road, and for a while, it was difficult to pinpoint where this road was supposed to be located, whether it was actually in PA or in Delaware, which is not a real place. It does not exist. Argue with your mother. So, where is this Devil's Road? Allegedly, it's in Chaddsford, Pennsylvania. Chaddsford is down the street from Longwood Garden along the PA-Delaware border, maybe 40 minutes from Philly. Side note, since I brought it up, I can't believe that I haven't made it to Longwood this year. The last time I was there was last October, literally a full year. The Longwood Christmas will be starting soon, and I need to make a point to take a little day trip. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Let's talk about this road. If you see me looking over here, I have my notes all over here, so I'm gonna try to keep my eye contact, but I have notes. One thing that I found particularly fun is that The Village, you know, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, apparently that was filmed in a nearby field. The Sixth Sense and Signs are two movies I will drop everything to watch whenever they're on. I also have a very interesting relationship with The Happening. Do I think it's good? Like in the same way as Signs and The Sixth Sense? Absolutely not. Do I enjoy watching it? Of course I do. I also know for a fact that I walked by that man in Reading Terminal Market back in like 2008. Anyway, it completely checks out that he would film one of his movies at a location with this type of lore. Let's talk about the lore. If you manage to find Devil's Road, you may notice that the trees look a little funny. It's said that the trees lean away from the road. Could they possibly be growing around wires and whatnot, blocking their natural growth? I mean, I guess, but where's the fun in that? According to legend, the trees are desperately leaning in an attempt to get away from the evil. It's not called Devil's Road for nothing. Trees hold memory, trees hold energy, so it's all very believable. The aforementioned evil is said to come from the DuPont family in their large mansion known as the Colt House. Who are the DuPonts, you ask? The DuPont family is one of the richest families in the United States. They immigrated from France in the 1800s, mayhaps. They helped launch the Industrial Revolution and have been entwined with the history of Delaware since the dawn of the 19th century. And allegedly get up to some questionable things in the dead of night. Allegedly. So my dad actually used to work for the DuPonts at the DuPont hotel in Delaware. Right? In Delaware. Once again, not a real place. But yeah, that's just a little fun fact. I don't know anything beyond that because he died when I was young, but I just thought I'd sprinkle that in there. The rumors surrounding the Colt House are pretty vague, but are generally centering Satanism, incestuous marriage, and also the KKK because of course. Hopping back to the incest real quick. Sorry. That is an insane sentence. Hopping back to the incest real quick. The DuPonts would supposedly only marry relatives to keep their wealth within the family, which wasn't that uncommon for stupidly rich and royal European families in that time, unfortunately. However, one of the claims regarding this house is that they would marry their close relatives and then lock away their disabled offspring in the mansion. God, that's so disturbing, but again, rumors. I'd like to move from human cruelty to some natural phenomenons. I've already mentioned the trees that bend away from the road, but again, these trees are uncut, yet they grow in the opposite of what is natural, away from the sun. Farther from the house, the trees grow normally and upright. Okay, I personally have no desire to try to find out for myself if this place is real. Like, you heard me mention the Klan, right? What do I look like? Anyway, but the trees, the trees are what I'd want to see. I love a freaky little tree. A tree bent a little weirdly, a tree with strange and twisted visible roots. Whenever I go hiking or exploring, my camera roll ends up full of trees. Like, relax, Evan Hansen. Speaking of trees, there aren't just bent trees. There are also skull trees or a skull tree. Amber, what on God's earth is a skull tree? Well, I'm glad you asked. Rumor claims the DuPonts would use these trees to dump their babies who were disabled, again, vile, rumor or not. The trees would devour the bodies and take shape of the child's skull. It is absolutely horrific. That one's more difficult to believe, but it does remind me of Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. Every time I read this part of the story, I just picture the Tree of the Dead scene of the movie. That movie is one of my favorites of all time, and I have not watched it yet this spooky season. That needs to change immediately. Piles of dead animals are also occasionally found in the woods, which, of course, leads to suspicion of sacrifice and rituals. Honestly, I wouldn't put anything past rich people, but allegedly. I already said that while there are some haunted locations I'd be interested in seeing for myself, this is not one I'd try to look for. I'd recommend you keeping your distance from this haunt as well. For one, the land is private property. I've heard area residents aren't fond of trespassers and sometimes will chase them off. It's also said that you may be chased off by guards in black hoods or like dark raincoats or trench coats or whatever, or large tinted trucks or SUVs or large vehicles with like giant blaring flashlights. They'll either follow you until you're out of the area or try to drive you off the road. I'm a pass. One last rumor about the house itself. It's said that the windows are shaped like inverted crosses, which I guess goes back to the whole clan, Satanism, ritualistic cult thing. That reminds me of Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark. I'm reading that book this month, and the clan are actual demons in that book. Maybe at some point we will have a little horror book club here. That'd be so fun. Right. That was the legend of Cossart Road. Do I believe any of this? Not necessarily, but who knows? Pennsylvania is a weird place, a very haunted place. I'd never be shocked that weird culty activity is going on in Delco, but I think this is just a legend. Honestly, I wonder if anyone outside of the area has even heard of it. I also wonder if we have any huge, widely known, like Mothman-esque level legends in this area. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. This was quick, short, sort of like a jump in. If I rip the band-aid off, if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it type situation. But thank you for joining me. I hope you make your way back to the Hollow real soon. Happy Halloween.